Okay, whoopity-doo. What's up, y'all? This is Optimal Evolution, the next week of programming here. We're 2 weeks out. I shouldn't have to tell you, but yep, it's coming up hot. We are 2 weeks out. So we're going, it's just damn near max out. There's not too much to say here. We're just going to be going heavy. We're going to be maximizing the Olympic lifts, getting ready for this competition. And with that, I will say, for those that are maybe still like on the fence or like, I don't know if I'm ready. Well, first and foremost is like, you're never really going to feel like you're ready. And during this time too is usually when you'll start doubting yourself the most, because you're going to probably feel a little beat up. And TJ and I were just talking, even like just in the energetics. I don't know if you get into the astrology and all those things, but either way, even just like the energetics, there's just a lot of kind of energy, and just quite frankly, motherfuckers going through it right now, just at a lot of different levels. And I've just even interacting with a lot of you guys and just the community. There's been a lot of that, and so it can seem like there's just a lot of shit going on. And like this fucking weightlifting competition, like, oh man, I'm just trying to make it through the day. Like, I get it. With that being said, again, you're never gonna feel ready. And doing something like this, having something to kind of pursue, at least in my experience, even if it doesn't feel like you're gonna be able to show up in tip-top shape, or again, whatever the story is, because remember, it's just, you're just telling yourself stories. You could very well surprise yourself. And, I'm sure you may have already come to experience within your training where some days you feel amazing and you're like, oh man, today's gonna be a great day of training, and then like everything goes to shit. And then other days you feel like shit, and then like you hit a PR and you surprise yourself. So it's the same thing with the competitions. And honestly, as an athlete, the same way that we train, the same thing is with competitions, in the sense that the more that you do them, the more competitions you do, the more experience you get going through that whole process. It literally becomes just another training session. If you've never done a competition before, you're still pretty new, it can seem like this very like, oh, this big thing, and I gotta do the best that I've ever done. And we kind of attach all these expectations to it, but it literally is just another day of training. And the cool thing about weightlifting is what you do to train for the competition is the same exact thing in the competition. We literally been maxing out, doing a heavy snatch and a heavy clean and jerk every damn week. So when you do the competition, it's going to be the same thing. And if you're following the programming, even if you choose not to do the competition, it's going to be programmed to max out. So I don't know, you're going to come after the competition to come max out. It's like, you might as well just pull up, bro. So that's my 2 cents. Take it away, TJ. Let's get rolling. We are on week 12.
Real quick.
Week 12. Go for it.
On top of what you were saying. And look, guys, like ultimately, again, you may not have the aspirations to be like a high-level weightlifter or anything like that, but kind of like when he was just talking about, I think it's important to get used to showing up for yourself. And what I mean by that is, like, as life goes forward, there will be all kinds of things that come into your way, all kinds of obstacles, personal, financial, emotional, mental, physical hurdles that we all have to go through at different times that will be placed in front of you at different times and spaces that will give you an opportunity to look at yourself. It might look like, oh, I gotta, pay for my car because I gotta, I got into an accident, or it might look like a speeding ticket.
Oh.
Or an injury. Like, it's gonna come in different forms, but there's always gonna be something. And when those things come, the easiest thing to do is to like cut out the most, like, the things that you don't need, the things like, going to the gym or things like that. When I would say, coming from someone who used to be that way and who still struggles in some of those ways sometimes today, honestly, the most important thing you can do is to find those pillars, find the strongholds in your life that will make it so that when the storms come, you can hold on to them, right? If, like, in the gym might be that for you. And honestly, I would say some kind of fitness, some kind of movement should be a pillar, because you can go and you can, like, it can be steady, it can be consistent. You can go there and just relax and focus on what you're doing. And when time comes to commit to like a meet or like something like that again might seem like you don't need to do it or seems like it's out of the way when you have so many other things going on, get used to showing up for yourself. And they can be in whatever form. And you know personally what those things look like. We don't know. But like you know what they are. Show up for yourself as consistently as you can. And then you build that confidence. So on days when you do feel like shit, when you are tired, when you're worn out, when your family's driving you crazy, or there's all kind of different stresses, you know you can just show up in whatever way you are. You're not going to be 100% every day. Doing this sport or anything like that, you are not going to be 100% every day. None of us are. We just show up and give the best we can. And like he said, some days you'll have nothing to give, and you'll be able to do more than you thought you could do, or vice versa. But that's so applicable to life. Like, you just keep showing up, and you find those things, those pillars, those strongholds that allow you to like keep moving forward, and just do your best, guys.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Anyway,
well said, my brother.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. By the way, the free course teaches you how to find all those pillars for yourself, my friends, and create systems in your life so that you can make sure that they consistently show up, and do it in a way where it doesn't feel like, oh, there's this extra thing that I got to do. It's just, this is just part of me being me. Because a lot of times we confuse things that feel urgent with what's actually important. And like TJ was saying, most of the time when shit feels urgent, the things that are actually important don't feel urgent. And so those are the first things that go. When it's like vice versa, when things start to feel more and more urgent, like me personally, I've learned whenever I start to feel like a sense of stress or like these urgent things, I've learned to actually like double down on the important stuff. And there's even been times in my life, because, I'm always experimenting with things. There's even been times where I've like have purposely just let everything go. As I even, this like from last year, even I was just stressed out, like literally just trying to do everything that I felt was urgent, but wasn't actually important. But like I was stressing myself out to the point where it was just like, I didn't even want to continue. I was just starting to grow resentful to everything. And then I had to essentially force myself. I was just like, I don't care if my whole entire life completely falls apart. I need to let it all go. And that's what I did. I literally just stopped. I just let everything go. And it was very scary. Because it was like, it's like, am I going to be able to continue on? Am I going to be able to, pay my bills, eat, like whatever the story may be. But then when I let it all go, it was scary, like I said, but it provided me clarity, because it gave me a space to finally see like what is actually the important things here. And then when I focused on those important things, a lot of the shit that I was doing that felt urgent ended up just taking care of themselves without me actually having to get all worried and like stressed and how's that going to happen and what's that going to turn out and what's that person going to think of me and all these other things. It's like, no, let me focus on what I can control. Let me focus on what is important. Let me get very, very clear on what is important to me, those pillars, and then just keep going up, keep showing up. Keep showing up. And that's like, for me, training is one of those pillars. Like TJ was saying, like some kind of physical activity is probably going to be one of those pillars. Although, I've worked with people where when they focus on their nutrition, the training takes care of itself. Whereas, me personally, like I know if I'm focusing on my training, my nutrition ends up taking care of themselves. So it's like, if you find those, and this is like literally, I walk you through this step by step in the course. If you find those things where it's like, okay, if I just focus on this, I know that all these other like details associated with it will just end up taking care of themselves. I don't have to worry about it. Because again, when I'm training hard, it's like I'm going to make sure I go to bed on time, because I'm not going to be able to train that well. I'm going to make sure I'm eating right, or I'm not going to be able to train that well. I'm going to make sure I'm taking space just to like be, whether that's meditation or going out in nature, whatever that looks like, because it's going to affect the way that I train. And it's like I have there's like 4 main things, which again, we don't have to go in the whole lesson here, but there's like 4 key areas. And I've kind of found that number 4 to be very prevalent in a lot of different areas. So again, whatever that is for you, whether, training or focusing on your nutrition or spending time, like, being social and spending time with friends and family, maybe that's like a core pillar in your life. But identify whatever those things are, because those are the important things that often don't feel urgent, but they are important. And the more you focus on that, at least in my experience, the more you focus on those things, the more and more the urgent things feel so urgent. Because a lot of times shit feels urgent because you're not doing the important stuff. And so then the shit just pops up because you're not doing the important stuff. And then it feels urgent. And then when it feels urgent, usually you start letting go of even more of the important stuff because you're trying to handle all the urgent stuff, which makes even more urgent stuff because what you focus on grows. Focus on what's important and you get more of what's important. Okay? There it is.
Perfect.
Year 4, Q3. This is week number 12. Facts. And this is 2-1-5 average. So, you know what that means. We just maxing out, like we said.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. And like I was saying, you know, you're probably going to start, I mean, you probably already are, but you're going to feel a little beat up. You're going to feel, you know, you maybe feel like things are kind of going down a little bit. And just, it's all part of the plan. All right. And as you go through this process enough times, you'll recognize that. Because honestly, I don't know any kind of competition I've done where, you know, I'm like 2 weeks out or even 1 week out and I'm still like, I don't know, man, am I going to be ready for this? But usually when I know I'm experiencing that is when I know, all right, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You don't want to peak too soon, yo. If you're feeling too good too soon, sometimes that's actually not a good sign. Perfect. Cool. 3, 2, 4. Yeah, so the 2 is the volume, so everything's going to be going down. And then 1 is the density, so not a whole lot of reps. And then 5 is the intensity. And I think 5 is the intensity for the next 2 weeks. So basically we're just going to be maxing out. It looks like we're going to have, if you're doing the 5-day program, we're going to have 2 max out sessions, essentially, on a Tuesday. Perfect. All right. So we got our specificity, prioritization. Yep. So test day. And you always do a good job with the all the colors. Whenever I'm like on here, I'm like, you know, I'm thinking about different colors, and then before I know it, it's just all the same shit.
Gotta make sure they can see what we got going on with this. This is 3, 2, 4.
Yep. Test is number 1. Weakness is number 2. And by the way, yo, I'm you know, right here, I'm just gonna keep plugging it in. In the free course also helps you identify like what actually is your test, because a little bit of a foreshadowing. And I'm still getting some clarity around this, but it'll continue to develop as we go. But being that next year, this theme is actually, it's a rest year. And that doesn't mean we're going to be resting the entire year, obviously. But a lot of the work that we'll do will be more oriented towards, you know, because right now we're very like, okay, Olympic lifting, and we're maximizing the snatch and the clean and jerk because it's all the peak. So it's like, how much can you snatch and clean and jerk? So going into next year, we can start to kind of open things up. And ideally in this, you know, again, this is part of the free course. This is part of the certification program. We can start to identify like, okay, what are the key tests for me? Because maybe, you know, the key test for you isn't necessarily the Olympic lifting total. So it's like identifying what that is for you and then being able to create the structure of the program around that. And the rest theme is associated with the air element, which is associated with ideas and potential. Okay? Whoa, bro. So in the rest phases, the rest year, even on your little rest breaks, is like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me see the big picture. Let me clarify the big picture. And let me see where the different possibilities and potentials lie. So that then when we move into the prep phase, which is then the intention, it's the fire. then it's like, okay, let's start to solidify some of the possibilities and really hone in. Like, okay, this is what I want to be focusing on. We got him.
Is this right?
Yep, that's right. And then here, and then yep, boom, boom, 2 down, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. Okay. So, yeah. So just a little foreshadowing of what we'll be getting into. But I'll be, and keep in touch too on the community check-ins that I do every Friday, because that's kind of where I share a lot of like, okay, here's where we're at as a nation, as a community, and then here's where we're moving. Here's what I'm currently working on as the king of Life Collective Nation, and then kind of, you know, here's different areas that you can get involved and what to expect, because there's a lot of work being done in the background. Obviously, that's kind of, you know, where I feel like just personally I come in is kind of creating this different structure and the foundation of things, so then we can all continue to come together and honestly just be able to share as much value as possible. And that's kind of where creating the whole collective, so that it's like essentially it's everything that you could need to be the best that you could possibly be. So it's like, you know, if you're just in there, like it's just here it all is, and then, you know, being a part of the certification program, and even just being a Life Collective community member, it'll be more of a tailored experience of like, okay, here's, you know, let's figure out what you need for you specifically, and then let's provide you with the tools, and let's show you how to use the tools for your specific situation. But yeah, just a lot of shit. Just keep tapping in, y'all. You'll find your way. All right, let's pull up next week, or last week rather, because I believe we are going to, you know, because even though, like, yes, specific, I do like to kind of maintain the flow that we had from the previous week. So last time we did the muscle snatch, and so there was technique, weakness, but I'd probably we'll do like weakness, strength. Okay. And I like the work with the turnover, because that's one of the areas too where I notice a lot of us, you know, because as a team, you know, we're doing similar training, so we usually kind of start to develop the same kinds of strengths as well as the same kinds of weaknesses. So like the turnover, specifically on the snatch and the clean, that's one area that I feel like, you know, a lot of us can benefit from targeting. So we'll do let's do the muscle snatch again. And then, bless you, sir.
Squeeze. So another weakness.
Yep, another weakness. So let me see. Last time we had high block power clean, and then we did a jerk and then a back squat. So what about power clean? I feel like, because I do really like continuing to hammer the jerk, because I do feel like across the board, everybody's made damn good progress on the jerk, and honestly, I feel like as a whole we're getting to that place where when we clean it, it's like it's more and more like, okay, I have the confidence that I can jerk it. Where before it was the opposite, where it's like, okay, we cleaned it, let's see. So I do want to, let's just keep hammering that. So let's do a jerk.
Chill out, bro. What are you doing?
And then we'll do it in busy squizzies. Keep that rolling. All right. Simple enough. So a little muscle snatch, some jerks. Cool, we like it. Nice little weakness day, and then specific day is, we already know what that is. And so I will just add here that the way that we're going about this meet prep is a little bit different than the kind of, I guess, typical approach. Because as you'll see, even going into next week, where the volume is going way down, that is pretty typical. But we're actually maintaining a pretty high intensity even going into meet week, okay? Which is a little different. Although, in some schools it's not, but I know just the typical approach and even how we've done things in the past where we've had more of a taper going into the meet week, we are more intentionally going to be keeping the intensity relatively high, as you'll see. Even though, like I said, the volume, the amount of sets, the amount of reps will go way down and already is going way down. So strength, that's just, front squat. Boy, how them knees feeling though. Little aches and pains. I mean, as you develop as an athlete, you'll kind of start to learn to differentiate more and more. And I know I've had conversations with a number of you where it's like, there's a difference between, okay, like my joints are kind of achy, a little sore. And yeah, it doesn't feel good, obviously, but it's like I can still kind of, it's not affecting the way that I move, even though I may feel it while I'm moving. Okay. And it's not necessarily like, it may get a little aggravated during the training session, but then like, you rest, you recover, you show up the next day. And I would say even for where we're at right now, if it's like, it's a little aggravated and then it kind of gets back to baseline, like I would say even that's okay. But if you do notice where it's like, I got this thing and it keeps getting worse. And when I'm training, I'm actually having to like do weird shit to make it not hurt so much. Like that's when it's kind of crossed that line into like, okay, we need to modify, we need to back off. So that's like kind of a key distinction there. If you feel it and it's uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily changing the way that you move and it's not necessarily getting worse day to day, we're okay. Like we can make it through to, because then we're gonna have a long rest, okay? But if it is getting to the point where it's like shit's getting worse and worse and I'm like doing weird shit to compensate, then that's when we need to back off. Okay? Just wanted to make that distinction.
Yeah. Build on that, guys. Yeah. Discomfort, soreness, and pain are different things, right? Muscles being sore and tight from like, a bunch of squatting motions, explosive movement, like it's going to come with the game. Like prepping for competition, your body's going to kind of like, going to get beat up a little bit because you are preparing to maxing out. Like you're going to lift as much weight as you possibly can. Your body has to go through, like, kind of has to get tested, has to get like built up to be conditioned for that. So you're going to get a little sore for sure. But pain, like, something that's like sharp and it's like you said, maybe like getting worse over time if you're not modifying or like, there's a difference in like continuing to like be with the program will help you identify the difference between pain and sore. Because I used to like not be able to tell what's pain is and what's soreness and discomfort. Like, but as you go further, you'll be able to tell like, okay, that's just tight today or that's just sore today versus like, no, like this hurts, like this doesn't feel good.
This is a problem.
You'll figure it out, guys.
All right, accessory day, 2-2. Let's see, we did snatch, balance, and clean RDL. So it's basically like a technique and accessory. What I'm feeling, because we haven't really had, we have the specific day here for the clean and the jerk, because we haven't done any like specific jerk or clean work. I'm wondering, because I do like those, even though I don't really like them, but I do think they're good. The high block, the power cleans. So maybe we could do that for a technique here. Is that still, it's not going to be that taxing.
High block power cleans?
Yep, high block power cleans. And that ideally it'll kind of prime, because the emphasis is that turnover. So it'll kind of prime that going into the test day. Okay, and then, so it's a 2-2-4. Cool. And then let's see here. Accessory. We haven't done any kind of pulls, and we also want to touch on. So we're clean, done a snatch, front squat. Let's go ahead and let's do, I don't know, kind of, I was feeling like maybe like a clean pull. That's what this week we're doing heavy snatch deadlifts, and we are doing clean RDLs. But we haven't had any kind of, like, we haven't necessarily had any kind of pull.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe let's do a clean pull, and then we will, quote unquote, superset that with Let's just do some, just keep it simple, but still touching on some things. Let's do some lateral bounds. Because that'll be like a little bit of kind of, get a little bit of, I guess, post-activation potentiation, but either way, just a little bit of plyometric work. Just keep the body fresh, not too much. Because obviously, we're going into, this is 2 weeks out, so it's very specific, not a whole lot of other extra things, but, we do want to kind of stay agile and fresh. All right, so that'll be it'll just be a one, that would be, 2 per side, huh? So we could do more, 2 per side. So that'd be a 1 by 2 at a 4 for the clean pull. And then we'll do more of like, we'll double that. So we'll do 4 per side. That'd be fine. 1 by 4 per side. I'm really focusing on obviously the explosion, but then also the absorption. Like try to land quietly, try to really absorb all your weight. And then test day, we know what that is. And we ready to roll. Test, peak.
Max out.
I did want to say something. It's kind of unrelated, but also very related. It's just been on my mind here. Which is basically I wouldn't say don't, but maybe try to be mindful of the distinction between technique, like getting overly fixated on technique and little different cues, all these drills, all these technical things, and just practice. There's a lot of times in my experience, like all the time, and I even look back on my own athletic career, it's like all the time that I was like, man, I should do this with my technique, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do this drill, or maybe I should try this cue. Yep. And not like looking back on it now, being damn near, damn near 10, 12 years in, is like all that time is just, if I would just practice, like literally just do the damn thing. And that's, so, when you're first getting started, because everything feels so new and it feels different, and it feels, there's like a lot of different moving pieces, so it can be very easy to get like, you watch a video, something, and you see some new drill, or you see some, some online coach telling you, which again, there's all validity to all that, and there's all time and place. Definitely. It's just being mindful of like, most of the time you're spending trying to do a lot of that stuff. If you just practice the damn thing, like that in itself is going to have the most carryover. Because I'm at a place too, even from a coaching perspective, where it's like the less I have to say, the better. So if I'm having to get, because even, if coming from an athlete perspective, if you're getting a lot of, make sure you do this, and you got to have this angle like that, and then you got to do that, and then make sure you think about that, and you're getting like a bunch of cues thrown at you, like how hard is that to execute when you've got like 4, 5, 6 things you're trying to do all at once? Whereas like if I could give you one thing, or if I can even better yet, like give you just an exercise, a specific exercise that teaches you all the things without even necessarily having to say anything. To me, that's the most powerful, the most effective thing that can be done. And that's where like a lot of these exercises is kind of identifying, okay, what are the weak points? And then instead of all these specific drills and cues and things, like let's see if we can just allow the exercise itself to do most of the coaching.
No, that's exactly right. Because I used to be that way. I used to think, and social media is a great tool to impart knowledge. Like there's so many great coaches out there who have these different drills and cues. So guys, please don't think we're telling you not to go research and study like the movements if you want to get back, because you should and you can, but you have to also understand, like the same thing. I would like see a drill, it's perfect, it's gonna help me. I gotta figure it out now. Your body and like the way your movement patterns work is not the way someone else's are. You are going to have to do these movements like a lot of times, like over and over and over again, for you to be able to be more comfortable doing them, and like for your body to understand what it has to do. You can't watch one video and just have it figured out. Like even if you understand conceptually what you're supposed to do, it's then training your body to be able to do it, right? I can watch someone pick up 1,000 pounds of deadlift. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to go do it. Like I have to put my body through the preparation do the movement, practice it over and over and over again till my body to be allowed. And then ultimately, while I'm practicing, I'm probably gonna learn how to do it a little bit better as I go. So guys, like he said perfectly, like just buy into the practice of it. Like years into it, and like I can still look back on where I've come from and see how much progress I've made, but also you can see like it's just taken a lot of reps. It's just people say, "Oh, man, you got so good at that." Like, yeah, I've just done it and spent hours and hours doing it. And that's not to discourage any guys. Just know that whatever you want to get good at is gonna take time. Like whatever you want to excel in or grow in proficiency in will just take time. And you have to like, just do I want to get good at this? Am I willing to invest the time that's necessary to get good at this? And if it is, then just know, the more you practice, the more you just buy into it, you're not going to be able to look up a way to just get better right away. Like, cues might help, and those things might be able to help you put it together as you go. But like you said, perfectly, just got to do it. You literally just have to do it.
There it is. So here we'll get you a nice full gander on that bad boy.
Oh, we forgot, bro.
Uh-oh. We're going to polish it off.
Gotta get that,
okay.
Periwinkle. Gotta get that.
The periwinkle. It's that hybrid. Come on.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You know, I said I wasn't gonna, but here we are. Oh,
it's that Blue's
periwinkle. The Blue's Clues. Hey, here we go. Come on. There it is. Finish it off right. Hey, we're doing the work. Don't forget to celebrate now, y'all. Get one for the team.
Oh, I got you. Hey, come here.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, y'all. It's been a pleasure as always. Let's finish out this next couple weeks strong. Remember, we do have a nice break coming up. We got fall break coming up, which maybe is even a little bit more incentive to like, all right, I got a break coming up. Let's hammer this bad boy. All right, y'all. Have an amazing night, day, whatever you're at. We love you, and we'll see you very soon.
See you later.